Hi, my name is Michael Hayford.
I'm Donovan Jones.
Welcome to Skyridge Farm. A lot of things. I think it started out when I was doing my research on what Skyridge Farm could be. I recognized that professionally I had a gap in the area of hospitality, and I then took a look into my personal and social networks to see who I could turn to for consulting, someone who would come in and guide me on what hospitality is, especially on the food side. And Donovan, who I've known for over 40 years, came to mind. I reached out to him and he shared what I'm doing, and he was interested to getting involved.
You mentioned Skyridge. You sent me the business plan, and I was excited. It really reignited my passion for not only hospitality, but for doing something incredibly special here in San Diego.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that in 40 years we went to high school together, not 5 miles from here.
Not 5 miles.
We were roommates, not 5 miles from here. We worked together in the construction industry in our formative years.
Yeah.
Not 5 miles from here. And Skyridge Farm is, 7 minutes the other direction. So it's all pretty central or centric to the region and our long-term relationship.
Yeah.
It really was the culmination of a number of different points. The first point being when I moved back to San Diego from 12 years outside New York City. I learned that all my friends were into outdoor adventures, RVing, motorsports, boating, things that I just didn't develop interest in, but I still love the outdoors. And I was craving a pathway, a solution to enjoy outdoors with the comforts of a 5-star hotel, and still be able to have friends and family around. And that became the nucleus. And the idea stuck with me, what and how. And at the same time, I was flying back and forth from Las Vegas to San Diego every week for business. And when you come back, it's interesting is you fly right over Hamul, which is where Skyridge Farm is, and pretty much where we are now. And I'd look out the window of the plane and I'd see these rolling hills, and I'd imagine how great would it be to have a large tract of land and this peace and serenity that might bring. And then a few years later, we decided we're going to sell the business in Las Vegas. And I started doing research on what I want to do next. And those 2 or 3 thoughts came together, and Skyridge, the concept for Skyridge was born.
What better place to have it here than where we grew up in East County, where you're real close to, downtown San Diego is 30 minutes away. The beaches are 30 minutes away. Everything, the comforts of a large city are really close, but yet when you go to Skyridge Farm, you are in quiet serenity. You're just nestled in nature.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Skyridge as a destination, we're 30 minutes to downtown San Diego, 30 minutes to San Diego International Airport, but we're also 10 minutes to 3 golf courses, 2 casinos, 6 country wineries, and thousands of acres of protected U.S. fish and wildlife and state property. So it's really close. It's really far away. We like to say close to everything, far from ordinary. And so that becomes the basis of it. And then if we wanted to get into the technical elements of San Diego tourism industry, the outdoor hospitality industry, even wellness travel.
Yeah.
They're all growth segments, and San Diego is a very significant destination in all of those channels. Research, I think, was really the basis or the core of getting comfortable to do this. There's a lot I didn't know, and I decided I would just start to do the research. And so, I did the market research on, the feasibility. If something like this existed, is there a market need? What would the performance look like? How would it fit the market? Whether it was the business analytics, the real estate, the market opportunity, financing, feasibility, it all came together and said, yes, this is something that's doable, and that's why I took the leap.
That and more than anything, it's very unique what we're doing, and it's not been done here in San Diego in the scale and scope of what we're doing. And that's what makes it really exciting, is like there's nothing like Sky Ridge Farm here in San Diego. There's some similar places that do similar things, but with what we want to do with the wellness, with the farm to table, with the stays, I think it's very unique in what we're doing here.
What about today's travelers and what they're looking for? And I think that was one of the biggest eye openers. Is today as millennials and Gen Z are driving this sector, and they want experiential travel. They don't want to go visit a box.
Right.
So like I'm on holiday. What do I do? Well, if you're at a traditional hotel, you're in a box and you go to the pool, and then you have to leave the property and you're going to go do other stuff. But they want experiences. So I think the farm brings a huge component to that of the experience side of things. They could be involved with planting, harvesting, learning, food, culinary. They can hike the property. They can hike the acreage around our property. But also that 10 minutes away, they can go and have a little adventure, whether it be a casino, golf, a winery, and really bringing the experience in, and then turning that whole hotel model inside out. So instead of everybody going in the box,
right,
outdoor hospitality, everything's outside. Your suite, your bungalow is going to be tucked into this piece of nature. And I think all of that fits today's travelers and what they demand in hospitality.
Absolutely.
Oh God, yeah. There's a ton. I mean, only a foolish person wouldn't have hesitation before making a multi-7-figure commitment to build something. I think hesitation is normal, and I think the interesting thing with hesitation, which is kind of a fear-related emotion, is can you overcome that hesitation, that fear?
Absolutely, and the uniqueness and the kind of first time doing this as a business, as an entrepreneur, but also as a industry in San Diego. I think that anxiety, that pause turns into excitement and possibility.
Yeah, I think that the core of hesitation and fear is the unknown.
Yeah,
and you really have to get comfortable with what you know and what you don't know. And that one saying that I like is know what you don't know. And that's why you're here today. I didn't know anything about hospitality and commercial food applications, and so I was comfortable saying I'll figure it out. I'm not a roofer, but I know I can hire a roofer. Do I understand business? Do I understand finance? Do I understand regulations? Do I understand? Yes, I understand all those. And I had to get comfortable with saying, hey, look, my general contractor can do that.
Right.
My partner can handle that. And building a team that will address the unknowns. And once you get comfortable with how you'll address the unknowns, I think the natural thing is to move forward. We're going to apply something that I've only just learned, and that's something called selective vegetation management, which is a long way of saying we do not want to rip the land completely bare. There's some beautiful manzanita, some scrub oaks, and other native plants that are on the property, and we don't want to just scrape the land dry. We want to curate it. We want to shape it. And the language that we learned just I think a week ago was selective vegetation management. And through selective vegetation management, we want to create fields or pastures where we will weave in fields of lavender, and then you'll see these beautiful specimens of manzanita and oak that'll then highlight and kind of create that
synergistic kind of portrait of the landscape with the selective vegetation. And you have the scrub oaks, you have those manzanitas that are just amazing. Folding that in with the lavender, with groves of olives, with avocados and other selected citrus to just bring this beautiful landscape together.
Yeah, it's going to be a tapestry. I mean, I think visually it's going to be one of a kind.
Yeah.
Kind of that, a purple African safari, if you would, or African savanna.
Yeah.
But then, the guests can go through the fields. They're going to eat some of what they see, and hopefully they're going to love it. I think it starts with the farm.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, a traditional glamping environment can be a campground, can be high density, and traditionally you're going to have an outdoor fire pit and barbecue. But what you don't generally find in a glamping environment is a commercial farm, right, where we're actually taking care of the land and harvesting food. What you don't find is farm to table dining. What you see on the farm will end up on your table, as well as we can't grow everything, so we will source proteins from regional, local ranches, and any vegetables or fruits that we need that we don't grow, we will source from local farms around us. So I think those become the beginning of it, but then I think you tie into that we're going to have our tranquility garden, so you could do a cold plunge in a sauna if you wanted to, and then you build on that with we're going to have an on-site brewery. You just don't find breweries at your local or some regional glamping center. Some do have bars and restaurants on them, but we're going to be living the San Diego craft beer legacy there, and so we'll have that. So I mean, you bring this kind of glamping idea nestled into a commercial farm, and then you bring to that San Diego craft beer, farm to table dining, areas designed for socialization, and then you remember where you are, right? You're 30 minutes downtown San Diego, and the wineries that are around us and everything else. So I think having those minutes from tourist attractions, being while still being remote, and then having those on-site amenities, I think makes us very different.
Well, they're going to be immersed in it right away. Coming on the property, you're going to see the lavender. You're going to be able to pick the lavender. You're going to see the olive groves. You're going to see the citrus. You're going to learn how those systems work and how we tend to the raised beds. And that experience is something that I think travelers want to know and want to learn these days. Is not just come stay at a hotel. We said this before, but actually take part in what we're doing and learning something and taking that back to where they come from, and kind of either using that information or even finding other places that are doing similar things in their communities and go with them.
Yeah, I think when you see where your food comes from, and when you know your food's grown in a healthy way, there's lots of data points out there that suggest the food tastes better. There's data points out there that clearly state that the food's more nutritional. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a unique opportunity to see where your food comes from, engage with how it's produced, whether it's you assist in planting, harvesting, culinary education, and then you sit down to a meal and enjoy that. It becomes very, very unique. And I think that's really what, when you see it come out of the ground, know it's been grown right. The soil's healthy, it has nutrients, the food has nutrients, and you're eating that carrot, like, that is an ice cream, that is a treat. And I think that's where we got to go. Absolutely.
And I think with the rise of urban farming as well, they're going to see what we're doing, and they can bring that into their own homes and places where they live as well.
Sure.
So the education has value.
Wellness at Sky Ridge is really kind of core, and it first starts with the land. As a regenerative farm, our intent is to improve the soils, drive more nutrients, retain moisture, water, so that so if we start out by first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're providing wellness to the earth, which is where our food comes from. The second thing is that with healthy soils, we get healthy, nutritious, and delicious food. So now we have healthy foods, and there's another step in the wellness chain. And so, you go, okay, I got earth, I've got food, and now I think what's interesting is your, and you guys might laugh, but I think your soul. I think there's something that is so...
it's spiritual. It is definitely spiritual.
Yeah, I think it's spiritual, but I think peaceful. Even the views from Sky Ridge, whether you're looking to the west sunsets or to the south, to those amazing mountains, there's a peace that kind of comes over your soul. And so you take step one and you take care of the earth, and now your food, and now your soul. And then I think the last component there in the wellness chain is really your body. And so if you imagine that you can go hiking on our property, it's going to be about a mile and a half hiking trail with some pretty good elevation shifts. You can do a cold plunge, you can get a massage. It's full cycle.
Yeah.
In that, whether it's the earth, the food, your soul, or your body, we're going to bring that to our guests who can sample any one of those or all of them.
Yeah.
The principal way is going to be, it's really going to be symbiotic. That's a lot of visibility. It's a lot of time. It's a significant expense to create that visibility. If we have a partner come on property, be it a heavy equipment operator, a system, or linens, mattresses, you can imagine all the things that are going to be on property. We can offer that visibility to those suppliers, and they can benefit from that visibility. And in turn, maybe we're going to get a discount on those materials, or maybe something for no charge, because we're including and mentioning them in our content. And I think that what makes that even more interesting, at least from my perspective, is those numbers I just shared were just us advertising and organically building our brand. But what's going to come next is our YouTube channel. We are going to share the development of Sky Ridge with everybody who wants to watch. We're going to have a YouTube channel, and we're going to call it Building the Ridge. And that's going to be a 12-part series.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
12-part series. And so then now you can imagine, a 30-minute episode every month, a number of social media clips and reels and posts that are derivatives of that production. And, our suppliers, partners, sponsors all have the opportunity to lever that visibility. So if we're almost 2 million page views today before that, what might we be with that? Those numbers, and we have kind of forecasted, they're pretty staggering. So I think it's a great opportunity for our partners.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for us. And if we're doing something that can benefit them and we can work out some type of trade, then it's symbiotic and everybody wins. And that's all we really want, is win-win relationships. Those who are going to potentially work with us, who can see what we're doing, who recognize the value of the visibility, whether it's a silverware,
right,
tableware supplier, irrigation supplier for the farm. It could be anybody who's
ranch, farm, the stays.
Yeah, there's just a wide range, and so it's not like there's any we need or there would be only one. It could be dozens of people that or brands that get involved. If you can imagine, the property today has a lot of chaparral, a lot of vegetation. Imagine shaping that, and maybe you're a chef making a chocolate cake, and you're spreading that around, and you're creating this tapestry of, we're going to keep this, and we're going to put something new here, and then seeing that reality on the property, which is only, hopefully only 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks out, we start that process. And then take a step back and go, holy cow, I can now I can see the layout.
Right.
And then the next milestone will most likely be planting of lavender. And then now you see lavenders planted. And then next thing you know, you look over and you've got a foundation for the pavilion. You got a foundation for the barn. And then you look around again, and if this was time lapse, kind of imagination, that the barn's built, the pavilion's built, the crane's out placing the guest accommodations on their pads. Those types of things I think are the types of milestones. And then, the final milestone is the first guest.
Yeah.
first crop, the first meal. Yeah, I'm those you start to get, really kind of excited about, and I pull myself back from those. I'm like, I'm not ready to think about that. Let's just stay focused on clearing the property, and getting some plants in the ground, and then we'll worry about the next one.
Absolutely, watching you talking about the vision, and then slowly watching it develop and come together right before our eyes is going to be the most exciting thing, and all the hard work that got to those points to where we can start to accelerate in developing is just it's a phenomenal feeling.
I imagine what success is a year from now, and for me, that's our neighbors who welcomed us so far.
Yeah.
But now they're coming up to the property, whether they're rolling up in a golf cart or other, and they're enjoying one of our craft beers, having a conversation. I think watching guests come on property, maybe a little bit stressed out, and seeing them decompress over a day or two, and in life, you have the opportunity to create a lot of digital postcards. And if you can imagine yourself in a moment, so if you imagine giant sunken fire pit and a whole bunch of people around it, and s'mores, or they're drinking something and they're laughing, and if you could live in that moment just for a second and blink your eyes really long and take that as a digital postcard that goes with you for the rest of your life, I think that is the image, that is the idea a year from now, and how I would characterize success for the project.
We're so unconventional to the way vacations are run, or even retreats are run, where you spend all the time getting to where you're going, and all the crowds and all the stress that goes along with going on a typical vacation, and having people walk away going, I want to come back. Did you see this? Could you smell the lavender? Could you taste the food? Do you remember this? The memories that we create, and the connections that I think people make with each other, and with the land, and with us, and their loved ones, it is what's really going to be a success for me. When I see a guest come back for a second time, that's to me is success. I want them to want to come back because of the serenity, because of the peace, because of the connection to the land that they're going to feel, the connection to each other and loved ones, where the stress of any escape is taken away, and you can make reconnections with the loved ones, connections with the land, and the possibilities that kind of brings. When you go out to the farm, when you go out to nature, your body adjusts to that serenity, and it's a health benefit of being out in nature.
Yeah, I think so. I think what's interesting is as Jake, our chocolate lab, came into the shot here, is that we can answer some questions too, because one of the most common questions we field on social media is
our dog's welcome.
Our dog's welcome, exactly. I don't know if you can get the feel for that answer right now looking at Jake, our chocolate Labrador, Jake the second. We had a Jake the first, another chocolate Labrador a few years back. But we welcome pets, and we love dogs, and as long as we can maintain that responsible visitors responsible with their pets, then we'd love to see nothing more than somebody up, having a lunch or a beer, and their dog at their foot, enjoying the same peace and tranquility. The common questions we're getting asked: are pets welcome? Sure are. You met Jake already.
Kids welcome.
Kids welcome. Yes. Although I honestly could see kids being more of a day trip than an overnight, but they're welcome. Can people prepare food at their stays? And the answer to that one is there'll be a barbecue outside, but there won't be a cooked surface inside the units. That's against regulations. So you'll have an outdoor kitchen setting where you can prepare food.
Are we real?
Oh God,
we're very real. This is very much happening, and there's significant time and money has been placed already to create this, where there's no going back. There's no stopping us.
Yeah.
And
we're 7 minutes from Sky Ridge right now. We're in my backyard. So are we real? Yes, we're real. Yes, the project's real. There's that ugly F word that a few people have thrown around because we use AI. And let me answer that question. We started out with architectural renderings, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that they cost a lot of money. They took 60, 90 days to get them, and 30 days after we got them, our visions continued to morph.
Right, and the development, the evolution,
But it's like, I want a different angle. Or what about this component of the property? What about that component of the property? How do I take that rendering and place it on that hillside? And all of that just became like, let's go spend $100,000 on renderings. And it's like, full stop. No, we're not wasting money like that. And we turned to AI. If you went to https:// if you go to that landing page and scroll down, you're going to find some things that we have common questions about. When you come down, there's 2 videos of the stays, of the 2 primary stays. Those videos are made up 95% of manufacturer-supplied actual photographs, not AI. So it's the real units, number 1. Number 2, if you scroll down the page further, one of the other questions we have is, where are we located? Yes, we say, hey, we're 30 minutes from downtown San Diego. And that map on the page shows that we're nestled, on the Mole Mountain Range.
Yep.
It's 30 minutes from downtown. And it shows, our general location. Why are we showing a general location versus sharing a specific address? A little bit more complicated answer, and one of the questions that we're fielding online. So the address for the property is 00 on a road. And if I give you that address, you are taken a mile from the property because the Google Earth and all these systems are referencing 00.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a street address because nothing was ever built on the land. And so we won't have a street address for probably, I don't know, if it'll happen at once certain permits are done or after we're completely done. I don't know. So it makes it hard. If I give you the actual address, you're gonna go someplace that's not us. So that's why we created a regional map so you can see attractions that are around us and get a good proximity understanding of where the refuge Sky Ridge is located.
When we open.
So why don't we tackle that one? So our target is to hit a late Q3 2026 opening. That will be subject to construction. We're optimistic that we can hold that timeline. But, if we have slips in construction schedule, we'll be updating everyone, especially our VIP holders who we're very appreciative of. So the goal is that late Q3 26. Another question is, when do I book? And I think that's a great question because we're doing a 3-step process, and the driver for that 3-step process really is construction and any risk with construction delay. So, we're going to run the VIP promotion through the end of this year. We will open up the VIP purchasing window in February. So those of you who are VIPs will be able to exercise your 50% off plus your perks that we've put out there in February. Once you've made your purchase, in the April, maybe May, we will then send out the next update, and that update will be we'll lead up updates coming up to April, May. That's when you book your dates. So we're using this 3-step process. So each time we're getting more and more clarity on the construction schedule.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want to do is say, okay, book your stay in February for October, and then something goes wrong with the construction schedule and it slips a month, and now we have to move every booking 30 days potentially, or the guest has to find when they can do it. So we don't want to open the dates up until we have a very good feeling and understanding on the opening, whether it's earlier or later.
Right, definitely. And transparency is key here. Letting you guys know exactly how the process goes. You're going to see it on the social medias. You're going to see it on the YouTube channel. You're going to hear it in the emails that we send out, where we are, how it's going, and how fast we can get things done. And that's very clear that what we have to do is do that.
Well, I think we covered a lot today.
Yeah.
I would like to say a couple things in particular. Number one is thank you guys for watching. We really do appreciate it. Hopefully this kind of informal interview provided answers, maybe
get you excited.
Yeah, exactly. Encourage you to follow us on Instagram at urbanglampco.com or at urbanglampco. For those of you who are not a VIP, we invite you to become a VIP. Follow the link below, and it will take you to provide more information on Urban Glampco and Skyridge Farm, and allow you to find your way to become a VIP. For those of you who have become VIPs, thank you.
Absolutely.
We're excited to host you guys. I can't tell you how interesting it is to answer some questions and then go, am I going to remember this person? I hope I remember this person when they email a property. Like, that would be really fun, is to, I remember that comment. Yeah, come on, let me buy you a drink, right? So follow us on social media. If you're not a VIP, become one. That's going to stay open through at least the end of this year. We will definitely be opening the purchase window in February, so put that on your calendar. We will be producing Building the Ridge as a YouTube program or series. There we go. And we'll that'll probably start in January. Once we kind of put shovel to the ground, and I think the first episode will really be about clearing and shaping the property to reflect the fields that we want to build in. But keep on a lookout for that, and share with your friends. It's going to be fun. We'll share the journey. I'm a little nervous, because when you look at those reality channels or those documentaries, they share the challenges as well as the funny stuff and maybe some of the milestones. Yeah. And I'm a little nervous about what could go wrong and what gets shared, and I realize there's that's kind of reason people watch, but I'm a little nervous about that.
Right. Well, and that's, follow us on TikTok as well and on Facebook, but really follow the journey, because there are going to be bumps in the road. There are going to be missteps. It's just a part of building anything special. It's not going to go right. Everything we do isn't going to be perfect, and that's where we're going to learn. You're going to learn with us, and hopefully you're going to join this journey and get excited and just become a VIP and book and come watch and experience what we're building at Skyridge Farm, and that is so exciting to me.
Yeah, what he said, but I'm still nervous. I don't know. I just imagine something breaks on the farm, or God forbid, one of my worries is the tractor rolls down a hill or something.
We'll pull the brake.
That'll make great television, but my God, I'm a little bit nervous about that. So hopefully nothing like that happens. But yeah, follow us, and hopefully as you do, you'll feel attached, connected to the Ridge, and I think it'd be great to have you sharing our dream, watching it
take
come alive.
Shape.
Yeah, take shape, come alive, become real. I think that's the fun part, and I think that's what television is really about, is sharing and being able to experience someone else's story, maybe someone else's dream, and we invite you to join us on that journey.